Welcome back to another episode of Bushy Head Podcast, where we bring you a kid adventure sports story times, experience, real life lessons, as well as big laughs. I'm Coach Mooch. I got my guy. Go.
Bushy Head Boy, K.A. Jacob Williams.
We're talking about a three-sport athlete, a 3 times all-district wide receiver, a defensive back, somebody who really lives that not ready but I will be mindset. Let's welcome Elijah Endsley. Elijah Endsley.
Y'all for having me on here.
Yeah, hold on, Elijah. We got some what's the names in here too. Hold on, we got some cheering.
Wait, where's Tori?
There we go. There we go.
Where's Tori?
He's at practice right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We do it on Mondays.
All right. Before we get into the highlights and stats, we always start here because this is what really matters. Who is Elijah Endsley?
Well, when, I'm not at school or at practice, when I'm at home, I'm really just playing video games, playing with my family, and just chilling at home.
My turn?
Oh, okay. And that's real because a lot of people only see like the Friday nights or the what I forgot what days you run on tracks, Monday, Wednesday, or whatever day that is, and they don't get a chance to see the work when it really begins before the meets or before the football Friday nights or even with the basketball. So,
Okay.
Go ahead, Jake.
What do you do differently than other players your age?
What do I do differently, like as far as preparing
Yeah.
for like a game?
Yep.
What I think I do differently than other people my age, I kind of just make sure, like as far as, basketball, when I'm getting ready for a game, I kind of just, sit, just think to myself, make sure I pray. I always pray before I go out and do anything. Football is the same. I kind of just, I'm just locked in, sitting in my locker, just, thinking of the plays I'm going to make and all that. And as far as track, just when I'm getting in my routine, stretch, like preparing to run, I'm just locked in, making sure always talking to God.
Good. Good. Yeah. That's always a beautiful thing.
Okay, now your questions. Let's make this simple and easy.
Go, Jacob. Question 2.
Be honest. What's harder going against a DB that talks or that's quiet, or that one that's quiet?
What's different is usually the loud DBs, they kind of rely a lot on their talking more than their game. So once, they're out there talking trash and you make a play on them to kind of shut them up, the dynamic shifts to where now, as far as me, I don't really talk that much trash when I'm out there. I kind of just go out there and play, don't really listen. It just goes in through one ear and out the other. So, really it's the guys that don't talk because, they're about business. They let their game do the talking for them. So, usually the ones you got to watch are the quiet ones more than the loud.
Mm-hmm. And what? Yeah, that's true. And why does that matter mentally during the game, though, Elijah? Why what you just said, the DBs that talk a lot versus the ones that quiet? Why does that matter mentally during the game?
Because the loud ones, they're trying to find a way other than the actual game to throw you off,
Mm-hmm.
so that when they may make a play, now it just intensifies. They're talking. You know, the quiet ones is kind of different because you may not expect them to do as much, but when they show it through the game more than like
Guys
Oh, that's
talking.
talking.
yeah. That you make a great point there. That's a really really great point. And a lot of kids say they want it, but don't work like it. And so again, a lot of kids, man, they say they want it, but they don't really work at it. So Jacob, what that go?
Um, what does a real work day look like for you? That most kids wouldn't do.
Um, Most work days, you know, I'm out there again making sure I warm up because the warm up sometimes is the most important thing. Make sure you prevent injury, and then after that, I feel like the level of the intensity that I do the drills. Most people, they kind of halfway go through the drills. You really got to think game situation when you're going through the drills, because if you're going through the drills half motion, then in the game you're gonna do the same thing. So what I try and do when I work out, I try to definitely imagine me in a real game situation, me doing these moves. Imagine a man, cutting, me watching his hips breaking down at the same time as him. I go through the drills as if I was in a game situation right there. And even when I mess up in the game or in the drills, I kind of think back at what can I do better the next rep.
Okay.
And
One question.
Jacob, what do you feel like you always do? You feel like you give that level of effort?
The, yeah.
You do.
Mhm.
Do you get a good stretch? Properly stretch?
No, sir. I don't stretch. Only at basketball practice.
But I think moving forward to eliminate some of these injuries that you haven't, I think we got to get there ahead of time where you can properly stretch right. And then after that, the recovery as well. So I really think that's very important that you stretch, that you really, really stretched. And then also like the game film situations like Elijah just was speaking about, just playing it over in your head, how you can get better or the things you can do to get better at that position or during the game or after, what I mean, for the next game. I think that's some good points that Elijah bring up. So that's a real good points that you bring up as well, Elijah. Jacob,
All right.
Jacob,
What's one,
go.
what's one mistake you made earlier that you had to fix to become
Elite. So the
elite?
question, Elijah, what's one mistake you made early that you had to fix to become elite?
Kind of mentally, you gotta buy in that you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because with other things, I was kind of just doing it without really. It wasn't that extra piece of I want it.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I feel like with football, it's a different type of like level I'm thinking on than with basketball, where it's like I really want to do this, really want to get good at this.
Mm-hmm.
So that extra step kind of gets you to, do those extra work and work through the drills like it's a game situation.
Right. I think that's a big that's big right there. Most kids don't want to hear that part about it of what it takes and then how to correct the mistakes. And then I think some kids either uh, maybe just watch film sometimes just for highlights, but then when just listening to you talk and you being able to break down your mistakes and go back and kind of correct those things, I think that's one of the things. And you can tell me if I'm different. I think that's one of the ones that attracted some of these offers that you got from like Washburn. When you talk
Mm-hmm.
of mentality and different stuff like that, and then you being locked in and so forth. I think that's where those offer comes in. That is because of the mindset, and then the poise that I think you have to probably. I mean, for you to play at the next level, you kind of displaying some of that stuff now. So I think that's big. So
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, and then
Do
on
you
another, hold on a second, Jacob. And then here's the thing: Jacob plays multiple sports as well. And now, Jacob, what's your question?
do you ever feel burnt out, and how do you handle it?
Oh, definitely. Um, Rest is a big thing that the more I've gotten older that I realize I need to get. So I definitely will go to sleep earlier on weekends. Ice, ice myself, ice bath. Um, One thing I started doing recently is stretching while I'm not just stretching like before a workout or before I practice, but at home because that
Mm-hmm.
helps also. So, oh, and hydration. That's another big thing that I'm trying to get better at right now. I got some Gatorade and water right here. Rehydrate.
Man, that's good. That balance is where a lot of athletes fails is just staying hydrated. You know what I mean? Just staying hydrated, recovery, stretching. I think that's some of the things that a lot of athletes kind of miss is the hydration part. Drinking a lot of water, drinking Gatorade, just staying hydrated. Because again, you are a three sports athlete, and so you just I don't even think you got a break. I think you went from football to basketball and right into track. And then I'm sure you already was doing some stuff with football. So the good thing is, it's
Mhm.
like what you just spoke on. Recovery is big because that eliminates, I think, a lot of injuries. So that is what you just said. That makes perfect sense. That's where I think a lot of athletes fail at is the bless you, the hydration part. So
Thank you.
yep, that's really big.
Do you stay in confidence? Do, let me do that again. Let me do that again.
Go.
do you do you stay confident without letting it turn into an argument?
No. How do you stay confidence without letting it turn into arrogance?
Arrogance. Yes, that's my fault.
That kind of goes with how, like, on the field, I'm not really talking. Like, I feel confident in my ability, but I don't have to also express it through trash talk, which then leads to, whatever it does. I know what I can do. So I try and go out there and play and show it and, let that, you know, be the judge.
That line right there, that line right there, most athletes don't manage it well. I think they show confidence and then what they try to do is they try to talk it, like try to not trash talk, but just try to talk to maybe get in your head, whatever the case may be. And sometimes what I find out is too is that some athletes can't do both. They can't talk and also have the confidence where something gonna get in the way, and basically what you just said makes sense is that you just go out there, you whatever, if you're on the defensive side of the ball, the offense side of the ball, you just basically just doing your job. Man, that's perfect. That's right on. And Jacob, have you ever felt pressure to perform?
Yeah.
You have? How did you feel pressure to perform?
Have I got feel pressure to before? Yeah, you asked me to perform before.
Do you feel pressure to perform like do you feel
Yes.
pressure to okay. And what's some of them things you get nervous like if you want to make all the jump shots and you can't, or you want to catch every ball, or you don't want that defender to get behind you when you're playing in your zone
Basketball?
no, not only basketball, when you playing DB.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what y'all call your defense?
Defense Poppy?
Poppy. So when you playing Poppy and you that corner, you don't want nobody to get behind you. So do you feel
Mm-hmm.
pressure? Do you feel pressure not to let that guy get behind you?
Yes.
Good, good. And go, Jacob.
Alright. How do you handle pressing when everyone except you to dominate?
So how do you handle pressure when everyone expects you to dominate, Elijah?
Kind of got to play with like a clear mind. No outside noise. Like when I'm on the field, a lot of the times people will talk about things that happen in the crowd, and I just be like, I didn't hear it, because I just play with a free mind. If I make a mistake, I always have a short-term memory where I just like, all right, next play. So like whenever I'm getting pressured to like dominate, I kind of just go out there and play. Make sure I just go out there and play.
Good. That's like good. That sounds good. That you actually you poise, and just by your demeanor and everything is poised. And so I kind of figured that you pretty much handle pressure pretty well. So that's good. Jake.
If we line up right now, me at receiver, you at DB, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
You tell me what's happening. What you gonna do?
I'm
What you gonna do?
smoking by you. I'm smoking you.
Okay.
You gonna
Okay.
catch it, Jacob?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, in all seriousness, now tell him, Elijah, what he needs to actually compete with someone at your level. Y'all kind of maybe a Jacob 11. How old are you, Elijah?
17.
17. So y'all about 6 years apart. But in all fairness, tell him what he actually need to do in order to compete with you. What someone needs to do to compete with you.
Definitely working like speed workouts, get faster. Definitely change your direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get your protein, get bigger, and get some muscle.
Mm-hmm. So that's good, Elijah. So you got the Washburn offer. Did I hear? And tell me if I'm wrong. Did I hear that you was talking to an Iowa State coach?
Yes, sir.
How was that conversation?
It was a good conversation. He was kind of just asking me, how I liked my school when I started playing football. Like my metrics, like how tall I was, how much I weighed, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool conversation, knowing like mutual coaches and kind of how he started different organizations that I'm in and all that. It
Mm-hmm.
was definitely a cool conversation.
Cool.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Did he ask you anything about your grades?
Yes.
Okay. What? So and how did he see you? Did he tell you how he seen you, or how he found out
But
about you?
How he found out? Um, he didn't exactly tell me, but he also like knows my. He kind of started. So I'm in 7-on-7 for football,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of started that around Kansas City, like the organization I'm in. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of helped start it along with some of the coaches that are talking to me, and like he's been in the Kansas City area,
Mm-hmm.
so it's definitely like some mutual connections. But uh yeah.
Nice, nice. Now I know you didn't play football in middle school, but what was, if you could think back on the day that you decided to tell your parents, or the conversation you had with your dad or your mom or even both, what was that conversation like when you went and told them, I'm going to play football?
My dad never really like forced me to play football. So when I told him that I wanted to play, he was excited. Just
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to try. Now my mom, she was kind of she's kind of iffy on it if I should play or not, because
Mm-hmm.
she was definitely scared that I was gonna get hurt. So it was she was kind of worried.
She was worried. I could see that. I could
Yeah.
see that. And I could see your dad, because your dad played football in high school and in college, right? And
Yes.
I could see him being excited. It's kind of the same thing with Jacob, me playing in college and me playing high school, and then Jacob saying that he wanted to play basketball. I was excited as well. We're working on maybe getting him to play tackle sometime, maybe next year or the year after. But we definitely will have to see about that. Uh, so who else besides Wash? You got the Washburn offer. You spoke to Iowa State, and who else? Elijah, you speak to any other
Big
colleges?
Kansas City.
I gotten different invites from like in northern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm getting invites like junior days to like Saint Thomas, which
Mm-hmm.
is up in Minnesota, kind of smaller, like D2
Mm-hmm.
NAI
Mm-hmm.
program. Um, but definitely some bigger D1 programs are gonna. Like I met the KU coach, defensive coordinator the other
Mm-hmm.
day at school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so
That's good. How was he
more.
talking? Did y'all have a conversation?
Nah, it was more of an open, like group, kind
Mm-hmm.
of just welcoming, saying like introducing ourselves. I didn't really get to have a conversation with him, but yeah,
Yeah. But before you
got
go on
him.
that, before you go track, and before you go on the field, what music? Who are you listening to?
That'd be Kendrick.
Um, track. I don't. I don't really listen to music.
Okay.
For football, I kind of. It's kind of a wide, different people on there. But definitely, if I want to go out there and like get hype, I listen to Young Boy. Yes, I do listen
I
to
the
him.
blue.
Yeah.
Good. Jacob, the
Okay,
conversation.
one
What?
one last question.
Go.
What advice would you give someone my age trying to get where you are? Yes, sir.
So, what advice would you give someone his age trying to get where you are, Elijah?
Um, just work. Kind of, you gotta invest in it mentally, cause if you kind of just doing it without, really want to do it, it's not gonna work because in your mind you telling yourself you not want to do something. It's just gonna get worse and worse over time. So you kind of gotta want to do it and work at it.
Yeah, man, that's a great point that you make. And with that being said, Jacob,
Hmm?
what is one thing you could take away from this conversation?
Mm, the advice.
Yeah, what yeah, like what is one thing taken from this conversation that you could take from this conversation and
The
apply?
confidence. The
The
confidence.
good, good. And what about confidence that you're gonna, what I mean, you're gonna apply confidence,
And discipline.
confidence and discipline. That is that is great, man. That is great. That's it. That's an impact, and that's what this platform is all about. Elijah, is just making a positive impact. And and one last thing, what would you tell them? No, not that one. If you can look right into the screen for all the kids, all the boys and girls, all the athletes,
Ladies.
student athletes, all that good stuff. We just what can you what's one thing or a few things that you can leave them with? Uh, uh, if it's anything that you can leave them with, what is a few things you can leave them with?
You always gotta believe in yourself, cause if nobody else does, then you do, and that's kind of all that matters at the end of the day. Um, Something else is definitely take care of your body,
Mm-hmm.
cause without that you can't do nothing. Also, talk to God too. Like pray. I
Good.
pray every day. Um, Before I go to any other app on my phone, I have a reminder that comes up every morning that tells me to read a verse, and I've been doing that for around like 870 days. So that's what, over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely, you gotta talk to God every day. Without Him, I wouldn't be where I am doing what I do.
That is perfect. And so Elijah, we appreciate you coming through, dropping that real value, and not just for us, but for every young athletes watching. So this is
Woo.
Bushy Head Podcast, where we bring you kid venture, sports, storytelling, experience, real life lessons, and big laughs. And remember, I'm not ready, but I will be. So let's say it together on the shirt. I'm not ready, but I will be. Good job. Good job. Good job. Thank you, Elijah. We definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace. Have a good one.
Are you too?
I like you.